What is up, A-Team? Welcome back. AuzSOME here. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. Or not, depending on where you're at, but hope it is awesome. And yes, we're back at it today to talk more about crypto. We did take yesterday off, Sunday off as well. I had soccer, but the markets were literally bouncing back. Insane gains, insane bounce back. We knew this. We came in Saturday. I streamed Saturday morning knowing that we actually tanked in the market. We came down good fair value gaps on the way down, hit really good levels. Hope everyone actually jumped into the markets for some nice little swing trades there. I know that people actually jumped into the markets for nice swing trades because in Discord, we were tearing it up in Discord there. I saw a lot of people make some really, really good moves over the weekend. And that's fantastic. Like I said, sorry, I was a little bit away. Had girls soccer all weekend. So appreciate you guys for always, holding it down in the Discord and supporting each other because this is the bounce back right now. Bounce back has been phenomenal, dude. People made really, really good gains off of their positions. Even people that made it through, potential liquidation events. We're right on the cusp of liquidation events with some of our trades. We're able to bounce back nicely with the bounce back. One thing you can never account for, I say this all the time, is the Trump indicator, dude. There's a Trump indicator out there. Tell me where it's at because it's really hard in these markets to know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously the Iranian strikes that we had earlier this weekend, decimated the market, right? I mean, absolutely decimated the market on Saturday. But we had this bounce back now with an Iranian deal. These are things that you can account for. So as much as indicators are out there, as much as indicators are telling us one thing, you can never account for something like that. And so as much as we try to anticipate it and know that it's there, you can never 100% be for sure on which way the markets are going to go. So a lot of us, we put long positions in knowing that the indicators were telling us that long positions came in. However, there was a bit of a liquidation event with the Iranian strikes. And that's just kind of, again, wrecked some people. I got liquidated in one of my trades because I actually couldn't access BTCC. They have fixed that, and again, kind of a sad deal, but it is what it is. I think a lot of people felt the same thing with some liquidations. Wow. Where you been, brother? What's up, Landa? Good to see you. I appreciate everyone here. I want to say what's up to everyone on before we jump into it all. I want to say what's up to everyone here on YouTube. We got in the A-Team over here. We got Crypto Mini, Gregor, Kenny, Richard, Alexi, Kyle. Good to see you guys. We got Legal Alien in the house. What's up, Legal? Good to see my guy. We got Paul, Slack, Salmon, Tobias. What's up, guys? Brodick, Moto A-Team, Hopium Days. Good to see you. I'm scrolling fast, so if I missed some of you, sorry. Jarvis, Gregor. Good to see you. Insane. And then over here on TikTok, I'm on TikTok over here. We got Sunny, Derek. What's up, guys? We got Timbo Slice in the house here. What's up, Timbo Slice? We got Landa. Yeah, that mom. Good to see you guys. We got Stefan, Elite Product. Anthony Hawkins. What's up, my guy? We got Anthony Hawkins over here. Appreciate you, man. Thank you guys so much for being here on the Twitter side, or sorry, on the TikTok side. So let's actually jump into it. We got actually some pretty good things to cover today. The biggest question I have is, for the A-Team, and we can have an open discussion here, is whether we're going to actually long or short the markets. What are the indicators telling us? And again, set aside everything. I've always said this, and I'll probably always put this disclaimer on there. We can never account for the actions of the Trump administration or just anything that's going on a global scale. Where if we're looking at indicators and trading based off indicators, we usually set ourselves up pretty good. There are times where liquidation events happen, like the strikes that happened on Saturday. But the goal is to try to mitigate that as much as possible, right? Don't over leverage yourself. Don't try to increase your margins if you can to stay into the trade. So many positive things that you can do to stay in there, and then take profits. Like that's the biggest thing is take profits. When you're actually in the green, don't always think that you're going to be able to hit a home run. Meaning that don't always think that you're going to hit 100, go up 100% on your trade or 200% up on your trade. A 30% gain, a 50% gain, anything like that is actually really, really good. And someone actually in Discord made a really, really good analogy that base hits are the best way to go, right? If we're talking home run, we're talking baseball analogy here, the best way to score is off of base hits. And so, continually stacking up your wins versus trying to hit that home run is a lot better. So that's what we're trying to do. We've always been trying to do that, is have more wins than losses. And it's pretty crazy. They don't know what the F they are doing. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. Trump coming out with the rhetoric out there today, dropping the F-bomb live on TV. That's pretty funny, dude. I don't think I've ever heard a president drop the F-bomb on live TV. That was pretty wild to see. Circle has been going strong. Yeah, Circle's been killing it, dude. Up 600%. Circle's been a great purchase for anyone that jumped into the Circle IPO and or just jumped into Circle when it launched. Fantastic move. Yeah, definitely. I definitely got wrecked on a few longs because of the BTC access. Yeah, Megan, I had some issues as well. but they weren't the only exchange that was down. In Discord, people were saying, I mean, Coinbase is having issues, dude. I couldn't even access Coinbase for about a good hour and a half. I heard Kraken was having some issues. I heard a lot of the exchanges during the liquidity event were basically down. I mean, you guys probably all experienced it across multiple platforms here. One person did text me that Blowfin was down for a minute. Again, there's probably a handful of other ones, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's just part of it. If you're new to crypto, just realize that decentralized exchanges control a lot of power. I've always said this, and I'll probably continue to say it, is that centralized exchanges are the number one things that actually need to be regulated. They are one of the number one liquidity providers for crypto across the globe. They hold a lot of keys to the cryptos and the power of crypto. They can shut down their exchange. They can stop the money from moving. They can shut people out. Like, they hold a lot of power. And so any glitch, any issue, a lot of the exchanges go down together. I mean, we see it a lot. And so that's why I always say, again, leverage trading separate from actually holding your stuff long term. And if you're holding your stuff long term, it needs to be off the exchanges and into a portfolio or into like a ledger or a pure wallet or somewhere you can actually store it safely. And then the rest is just playing around, like just have some play around money, which is a lot of what we're doing here with our longs and our shorts. Is this isn't our long-term holds. These are just short-term swing trades. We get in, we get out. We're not holding them. We're holding them for maybe 5 days, right? We're trying to push that 72-hour marker is a long push, right? And even in our trades, right, on Saturday, we're pushing roughly 72 hours into Saturday. So, and what happened is right after the strikes, the markets bounced back pretty nuts. But before we jump into all that, let's actually take a look at some of the charts here. I do have some news that we want to get through here, some things in the market that we can talk about here. The biggest one here, obviously, is the bounce back in crypto. Saturday, I streamed. We saw the massive liquidation events coming on Saturday. We knew and anticipated that there was going to be a market bounce back. The indicators were telling us that Saturday or Sunday and Monday were going to be the bounce back. Very, very similar to the previous week, which happened on Sunday and Monday. We talked about that all week long, about Sunday, Monday being the same bounce back based off indicators. Take away the whole Iranian strike and Israel conflict and all that kind of stuff. The indicators were still telling us that Sunday and Monday were going to be the bounce back. So we were all trying to anticipate that. And it did. It bounced back very, very nicely. Obviously, it had some some pretty big plays because of the Iranian deal, or the so-called peace deal. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not going to actually hang my hat on that. So, but you can see right here that over the last 7 days, we're still pretty flat. I mean, if you look at the 7-day indicator, I mean, we're back to basically even. But the 24-hour mark, if you were out here swing trading this, if you were putting some margin calls in, you were making some really damn good money off this, which is phenomenal, right? That's kind of what we were playing for, is the 24-hour range here. I mean, XRP up almost 10%, Ethereum back up 8% in the last 24 hours. Our one down here, the Hedera was up almost 14% over the last 24 hours last night. I mean, we're making a killing off the Hedera bounce back. At least some of us were. I mean, it's up to you guys if you guys jumped in or not. But I mean, Hedera, nice little bounce back there as well. Chainlink up 14% right now. You can see over this last hour, there's going to be a little bit of a pullback here. The question that I have is whether we long or short the market here. And I'll tell you, the indicators right now are telling us to actually short the market. So, take it for what it is, right? Some people feel like we're going to bounce even higher, and we very well could bounce a little bit higher. But if you're looking at for the next 48 to 72 hours, technically indicators are saying that we're a little over purchased on the market, and we could have a little bounce, a little downward trend. Again, doesn't mean we have to have this drastic downward trend. When I say we're going to have a bounce, go downward, doesn't mean that we're going to go down in this major liquidation event. We're talking maybe 1, 2, 3% that we go down, and then we have a nice little bounce back. That's kind of what you want to see. And that's kind of where it's at. Not holding my breath. I do hope the ceasefire holds. I do too, Legal. I'm with you, man. Stop apologizing for Trump. He's an amateur. Again, not that I can't control what happens, right? None of us can control what the Trump administration does. So you just got to play the indicator. We'll probably go back to retest the 112 before the next leg, and that very well could happen. So I mean, indicators are telling us that. So that is on the table here. But you can see right now, this is kind of where we're at. I mean, you can see that in the last hour, we're kind of trending downward. The markets right now have a nice little bounce back as this ceasefire hope is on the table here. Obviously, I think a lot of the markets were fueled off of Powell's discussion today. He obviously came out and said he does not see the United States going into a recession. He did talk about potential rate cuts. He does, but however, he did sort of hedge that with saying that inflation's still high. So there's just a lot of those kind of things that are out there right now. Some things that are lingering right now. Oil prices fall more than 4% after Trump says China can continue buying oil from Iran. All this stuff is out there. But realize that, again, we're going to probably have a rate cut coming in July. We know that we're going to have the big, beautiful bill that's most likely going to pass the Senate and the House at some point during this year. We do know, regardless of how you feel about it, like we do know that's eventually going to pass. And we do know there's probably going to be another rate cut coming at the end of Q3 and into Q4. So with all that being said, we know that the market is going to most likely have a nice little uptrend at some point here around Q3, Q4. Looking at this right now, you can see this is not, with the U.S. is not in a recession. You can see right here that Bitcoin now, this is actually really, I am shocked that only 1/3 of crypto portfolios hold Bitcoin. I am blown away that more people do not hold Bitcoin. Kind of blows me away that only 1/3 of portfolios hold Bitcoin. You'd think that people would hold more of that. It just kind of shocks me, I guess. Everyone should at some point hold Bitcoin, whether it's through an ETF, whether it's through some kind of institutional investment that you do, whether it's through a 401k, whatever it might be. So you got to go. If you're in crypto, you got to hold Bitcoin. Like I get that, like sometimes Bitcoin doesn't seem as sexy. People feel that it's too expensive, whatever the case may be. Like set all that shit aside. You got to go out there and actually, like, at some point hold Bitcoin. I mean, if you have the largest institutions in the world out here holding Bitcoin, why are people so afraid to hold Bitcoin still? It kind of blows my mind here. But yeah, 1/3, only 1/3. That's kind of crazy to me. So again, right here, Powell came out. This was actually really, really big. Trump came out and said this needed to happen. Banks are now free to conduct crypto activities. This is huge. Now banks getting involved with the activity of crypto. This could be really, really big for crypto. We're just seeing the framework start to unfold here for crypto. Like, we're still so early. Everyone here on this stream, we got 49 people over here on TikTok. I got 160 people over here on YouTube at the time of this film. I'm a little early, so some people are probably like, dude, how is Austin on at 9 a.m.? I'm just on early because I hadn't been on yesterday and things like that, and I felt like we had a lot of things to talk about. So, yeah, I do think that we're so early still, regardless of how anyone feels. We're so early. Unfortunately, got into crypto this past October. Yeah, and I think it's going to be Monty, or what is that, Mont onesie? I think that October you're gonna reap the reward somewhere around that time frame if you can just hold on. Andrew is Cookie's best fan, hoping to make a good chunk of money to buy Bitcoin in the bear market. Yeah, and very well, it's the bear market will come. I don't know exactly when, but I mean when it does, there's people going to be able to take profits from this bull run and jumping in and drop it into this bear. I got a Model T in the shop right now. It's too crazy. Wooden rims, you crazy. Moto 18, you crazy, bro. So this is kind of crazy here too. So as much as we have Trump, we have Powell out here saying that the U.S. economy is not looking to go into a recession. Leading U.S. economic indicators are still signaling a recession's actually on the brink. So what's crazy is if you're looking at indicators and you're judging your trades and your investments off of indicators, I mean, really, the indicators are telling us that the U.S. is potentially signaling for a recession. So you have Powell out here saying that we're not going to go into a recession, or doesn't see the United States going into a recession. However, indicators are telling us otherwise. So if you are an indicator trader, and just looking at pure indicators and no hyperbole outside of that, then yeah, I mean, technically we're going to be into a little bit of a downturn. If you don't believe that, and you don't believe indicators, and you believe the hype in the markets or what people are saying, then that could actually change your perspective here. But realize that when people are starting to talk about recession, talk about this stuff, that typically means that we've already hit the bottom of a recession. So regardless of how anyone feels, that's kind of where we're at. It says the index has declined in 37 out of the last 39 months, one of the worst streaks on record. So this is the Conference Board leading economic indicator, the LEI. It fell more than 0.1% month over month in May, posted its sixth straight monthly decline. And like it says, the index declined 37 out of the last 39 months. That's not a really good indicator. I mean, that's a good indicator to show you that we're continually declining. And that's not good from a growth standpoint, right? The growth rate's not looking too good. Let's see here. Thank you guys so much for joining the live over here on TikTok. Cardano, yeah. What are you two? Cardano, Cardano, Cardano's, I have nothing to say in Cardano. The manipulation of those indicators have only gotten worse since I was paying attention. Yeah, and I think a lot of them, these indicators are, I mean, they're making, there was a really good, tell you the truth, actually, this was said earlier here, right here. Let me see. It was right here. Yeah, the Bureau of Labor. This is what's crazy about this. So talking about indicator, that's a good bring up right here. Is that these manipulation of these indicators? Here's a good example of a manipulation of indicators right here. It says the Bureau of Labor Statistics calculated CPI inflation by gathering approximately 90,000 monthly price quotes across 200 products and service categories. There are hundreds of yield collectors tracking these prices in 75 urban areas nationwide. However, the price data is unavailable. It says the BLS uses an estimated about approximately 10% of all data points. Most recently in May, the share of estimates jumped about 30%. In other words, nearly 1/3 of prices with the CPI were simply estimated. So everything is estimated. They're not actually exact. And a majority of these numbers are actually made up. That's what's happening here. Is the majority of these numbers are made up to make things look good or bad depending on where the markets are. And you can actually see here, look at this over the course of what is that, 8 years, the CPI data right here is like literally, this is a red flag. When you have this big of a difference, it's a red flag on your estimates. And that's a really good point, Legal. You brought that up, because that's what they're saying, is a lot of the government agencies out there are using these estimates as a way to manipulate market sentiment. And over the last previous years, that's what's been going on. I mean, you saw the labor statistics. I mean, what did they come back and have to recount? Like almost 1 million, what was it, like 1 million people? I can't remember something was over. I can't remember. I had to go back and look. What was overcounted? Biden administration overcounted, I think it was amount of jobs in the workforce, which was complete bullshit, and they ended up having to like kick it back. So I think it was just basically came down to like we inflate and deflate numbers based off of where we're at, and administrations do that to help manipulate markets. Regardless, I don't care what side of the aisle. Right now, we're seeing that the Trump administration is actually inflating numbers that shouldn't be inflated. That's what this is saying. So regardless of how you feel about administrations, they both do it. They both do it for manipulations of markets. If XRP going to $100, I'm going to buy a Rivian. All right, first cut and we fly. Oh, dude, Joe, yeah, first rate cut, we're booming, dude. If you're not in the markets when the first rate cut hits, sorry, dude, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, if you're not in the markets now, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Like, what are you doing? My point on here, since I began with crypto, no one knows anything about the crypto it's going to do. Well, I mean, crypto's continually, I can tell you one thing, crypto has continually outperformed the markets. I mean, Bitcoin is the number one performing asset in the markets over the last, almost 14 years. I could tell you that Bitcoin's probably going to continue to thrive in the markets, and it's going to continue to go up. It hasn't gone down. I mean, every investment in the S&P 500, every investment in the NASDAQ, every investment in the, in the Dow, any of those investments out there, any investment in Bitcoin has continually gone up. So it might go down and have its dips, but at the end of the day, it's continually gone up. So I can tell you that. So we might not know day to day what's going to be happening, but I can tell you in the long run, everything is telling us that if you invest today, 10 years from now, you're going to have a lot bigger return on your investment. I mean, I think we can all agree to that. I mean, go back and look at every chart that's out there. I got a short at 219. Yeah, shorts are looking very, I mean, right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, dude, shorts are looking, so again, we're just looking at indicators. Like, just please set aside anything that comes through with the Trump thing. Like, we don't know what you have to set that aside. If you trade on indicators, and again, I trade purely on indicators here, and sometimes you have to hold for 48, sometimes you got to hold for more than 72 hours to make your play turn out. And usually if you do that, it's going to hold out. So markets right now are saying to short the market, right? And we're having a nice little bounce back. Even in this last 12 hour, we're having a bounce back. The last 4 hour, we're having a nice little bounce back, but it's starting to tail off here. You can see 4, 8, 12, last 12 hours, we've tailed off. Although we've been in the green, I'm looking at, this is the XRP chart right now, the Binance XRP chart. And I'm going to probably, I'll be honest with you, I'll probably come back because you can see this. Look at this wick right here, dude. Went all the way up to 228 on Monday yesterday, dude. This was insane gains yesterday. But you can see that this is starting to tap out here on the 4 hour. Usually, like we usually come up here and we spend about roughly almost a day and a half at the top up here. We came up and hit this around around 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Yesterday. We hit the top up here. We've been at the 100% mark on the RSI for almost going into, almost a whole day now. And so usually we start to trend downward. So again, I'm not saying that it has to trend all the way back down here. I'm talking like, even if we come back down to 213, 212, even into here where it's a 212, right here, again, it doesn't have to be this crazy decline. We're roughly what, 1 or 2%, right, from where it's at right now. I mean, a 1% down to a 215, maybe a 2% down to a 213, very, very reasonable. I mean, that's not a reasonable, decline in where we're at, especially after the massive purchase and this massive amount of money that flew back into the market. Talk about liquidations, dude. Just go look at the liquidations that are happening right here. This is going to flip backwards. I mean, it always does, right? It goes one way and then it's going to come back the other way. So just be prepared. Look at that. 340 million shorts in the last 24 hours have been wrecked. 99 longs have been wrecked, but you can see the shorts outweigh the longs. What does that mean? What does that tell you? That means that this is going to flip. This is going to flip. Now you're just trying to be the person that is on the right side of that flip. That's all. This is eventually going to flip again. It always does. And these indicators are always going to come back down. We're at the top of these indicators right now. The day chart is still trending upward, which means that these shorts should technically only be, you'll be holding these shorts for maybe 24 hours, right? Take your profits, wait for it to go up again, because the day chart is trying to bounce back up again. And as you can see here with XRP, usually when the day chart resets, like it does right here, we tend to bounce back up. We have cleared this 50% mark right here. So hopefully we trend back upward here. And so although there might be a little bit of a 24-hour downturn in the market or a 24-hour shorting event that comes up here, realize that we are on an uptrend here. So you shouldn't be holding these things for more than 48 hours, knowing that we're going to probably have a nice little uptrend back upwards based off indicators. So that's kind of where we're at. H-bar, same boat. Day charts on its way back up. 12-hour, it's already peaked, right? Hit this 100%. How long do we stay up here? On average across the board here, we stay up here for roughly, this one was roughly 12, 24, 36 hours up here. We're only up here for 12 hours here. We're up here for 12, 24, 36, 48, almost 72 hours right here. So you can see we're already at the peak here. So we're up here for maybe 48 hours, right? And I reset my fib on this one because, again, H-bar has been probably one of the harder charts to manage for some reason. But you can see right here, we peaked out up here at 15,486. We're actually peaked out here on the RSI. And again, you got to hold this for probably 48 hours to see this maybe downtrend, maybe come back down to the 382 level. Even if it comes back down to the 236 level right here on this new fib that we just created, I mean, that's a nice little return on some margin call, right? I mean, we're talking roughly at this point, we come back down to about 2% right now. I said 2% is roughly where we need to be. I mean, you make a really, really good return on your short right there. So again, right now, the markets are telling us that that technically we should be shorting in a shorting position, and as long as you don't over leverage yourself, as long as you're putting in reasonable leverages, as long as you're putting in reasonable amounts of money, you should be in a good position regardless of where this goes in the next 24, 48, 72 hours. Thought you stopped doing lives 4 a.m. here in New Zealand. Oh no, Alan, I still do lives. I just stopped doing them on X or on TikTok because they kept flagging the channel, dude. And so I figured, you know what? It's been a while. Let's jump back into it, see what happens. We can read charts and follow indicators. No one is saying we predict, but we can assume based off indicators. Yeah, your whole goal is to look at as many indicators as possible to help win your trade. Doesn't mean that they always work out, but they do help with the trade here. That one guy, thanks so much for the $5 super chat here. Prior, you were calling an $8 XRP this cycle. Are you still that conservative? 701. 701's been my call, that one guy. 701 is, I'm still sitting on the 701 marker for XRP. When the markets begin to run, they run, dude. They will run. We've seen that before. So, oh yeah, I still love looking at the BTC aggregate charts for liquidations. That's a new instead of pump fund, it's watch fund. Is that what it is? I figured 212. Yeah, 212 could be there. I mean, technically right now, like I said, I haven't put anything in today. All my positions have been closed out. We are sitting okay, right? But now the question is when do we put these shorts in? I was going to do it here. I was going to actually put one in before the stream, but I was like, you know what? I'll do it live on stream with everyone here. So as you guys know, I do trade on BTCC here. I'm probably going to short the market. Let's go to XRP, my trade of the day. We're going to short the market. I'm going to, again, the indicators are telling us to short the markets. You got to decide what's best for you. USDT. Why did that shift? And again, these are small holds. I don't know if the market's going to bounce back or not, but indicators are saying short the market. So we're going to come in and we're going to short the market just a little bit here. We're going to do about, let's do about 2,000. Let's do 2,500 XRP. So we're going to do 2,500 margins, $124. We're going to open up a short. Let's see here. That's isolated. That puts us at roughly, I think it's going to put us at isolated. Dude, I'm not even going to get liquidated on this one. Let's actually put in a 20x margin on that one. Let's open up a short. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so liquidation, I mean, dude, 228 liquidation is where it needs to go. It's sitting at 219. We'll see what happens here. Like I said, if I have to add margin, I will. But, technically we should be short in the market based off indicators. And, again, we'll have to manage this, but that's where I'm putting my money right now. BTC 1 minute about to cross 200 may be a good short, but risky. Yeah, we're talking 24. We're talking 24, 48 hours at the most. You should be doing these because the day indicators are telling us otherwise. The day indicators are actually in the positive. So these shorts should be like short term. We're talking 12-hour holds, 24-hour holds at most for these shorts, right? Again, and when you're in the profits, like a 30% return, that should be like in these market conditions, a 30% return, a 20% return, you should be looking, right? Everyone's trying to hit these home runs. And sometimes those are what get you caught the most. Phones need to be restarted semi-often. Yeah, that's a big one too. Yesterday I'd done that stuff. I haven't done it in a long time, but I took profits almost every 2 hours, but almost tripled my swing bag. Hell yeah, AirSent. That's what I'm talking about, dude. I'm gonna be helping out with the chat over here, Austin. Multiple streaming is difficult. Oh, no problem. I appreciate you, Andrew, for being over here. Appreciate you being over here on TikTok. So we'll see what happens today. Like I said, when you make these sometimes you got to work through these, right? Sometimes you got to work through the trades on these. But same with the indicator. This could be that could be an early short, right? I did it live on stream here. It could be an early short. These shorts could might not happen. I mean, you can see here with like XRP, for instance. XRP just hit the peak up here. We technically on this 12-hour could spend roughly 24, probably almost 24 hours up here at the top of this, right? This could continue to climb up here to 225, right? Again, that's why you don't you put in decent margin on this if you're going to make the call right now. But this could come up here and be up here, or we hit the peak of this. Based off this, we hit the peak here, we hit the peak here, we hit the peak over here. So we'll see if we can hit the peak here. H-bar, same boat, right? H-bar is coming up, it's hitting its peak up here. Last time it came up here, it like literally hung around up here for roughly, what is that? Almost 12, 24, 30, 48 hours up here. It only hung up here for about 12 hours. And then this one hung up here for about roughly 12, 24 hours at the peak of this, right? So you got to watch out for something like this right here. Let me get rid of BJ K's comment. But you can see this right here. This could stay up here for another 24 to 48 hours and actually go back up again, right? It could go up another like 3 or 5, like probably roughly 5%, 7%. So, I mean, that could very well happen, same with the XRP. So you can see there's a nice little fair value gap right here. We did a new fib. Most likely over the next 48 hours, we should be having some kind of reset here. He put in an XRP short. Yeah, totally possible. Hey, it's been a minute. Yeah, long and short numbers, please. Well, I just did that one. I'll probably put a short on X or on H bar here. Like I said, trying to time this, but the 4-hour has been at the top up here. You can see last time we were up here, even over these last indicators right here, we tapped out, right? We tapped out, probably yesterday around what? Probably yesterday we tapped out around 1 p.m. on the H bar, and we're starting to trend downward here. But even with this trend down right now, we're still coming back up in price. So something to consider here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we came back down into the 14s on a nice little reset. And that's kind of what we're playing for right now. As the ceasefire falls through, best available, believe it turns down. Yeah. And you got to, I mean, if you're going to account for some kind of Trump indicator out there, the ceasefire could fall through, which could cause the markets to trend back downward. I mean, that's another indicator out there. Or the ceasefire holds through and, things start to, continue upward. So it is hard to look at these markets, but that's why I said, don't over margin, don't over leverage yourself, because again, you could hold on to a trade pretty nicely. If you put $100 in and this thing goes down, I mean, you could hold on to that trade until that downturn happens. What happens is people put 100x leverage in there, 50x leverage, 30x leverage, and those things are really, really hard to fight your way out of. But if you're doing smaller, 20, 10x, and you're putting like $100 in there, you have a good shot at being able to recover that. So I think we may retest the 50 EMA before falling back. We very well could. I think, like I said, I put this one in there, just for the stream of play of the day, and just telling where indicators are. So I always say I like to put my money where my mouth is, and we'll see what happens here. Right now I'm down 91 cents right now on my little margin trade that I did right there. Let's actually I'm going to put one in for XRP HBAR while we're here live on stream. I got to go back to perpetuals over here. Let's do one for HBAR. HBAR has been my kryptonite, though. I'll tell you that, dude. It's probably been one of my harder ones to track. To be honest with everyone, it's been my harder one for sure. Let's see here. Let's do 15, 114. We're going to open up a short here on a 20x leverage. Liquidation price is 19 for estimated liquidation. So, I mean, we're talking 19 cents. HBAR is going to have to get to here. We're at 15 cents. So pretty big liquidation. I mean, pretty big gap on the liquidation side. So not too bad. We'll play the indicators, because like I said, indicators are telling us that the market could have a little bit of a downturn. I was still too scared to do a cross trade. Dude, if you do low leverage, dude, it's not that bad. Low leverage that thing, dude. Made enough this morning to buy some tacos for lunch. Hell yeah, John. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. We may intervene if it fails. Yeah, I think so. HBAR is up 10%. That's another thing you got to consider, right, guy? I mean, it's up 10% right now. Doesn't mean it's always going to continue to ride that horse, right? I've just been DCAing into HBAR. Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Does the market even care about the ceasefire at this point? It's up in the air, and I think that they do. I think that, like I said, that's what I call the Trump indicators. Those are the ones that you can't plan for. Unfortunately, you literally cannot plan for Trump's indicators, so it's tough to say. Hey, Austin, just got here. Is crypto looking to go up in the coming days? I mean, the day charts are looking good, right? Day charts are looking like they just passed the 50 on the indicator here for most. Like HBAR is 50, XRP on the days at 50. Ethereum back up. It's actually Ethereum's looking like it's trying to come back up here and not get rejected like we saw here. Bitcoin again, coming back up right now. So Bitcoin is looking strong on the daily. But where I'm saying is that if you look over the 12, a lot of these things are over purchased, right? So like this 12 hour is going to come back down, right? And you have a nice little reset here. So this thing is probably going to come back up, and have a nice little reset here. Maybe we have a little nice, do something like this where we come back down and hit this 0.236 area, which could happen. Puts us back down at a 103 before we have a nice little bounce back from at this 105. So, again, we're talking like 1-2% before we have a nice little, bounce back upward. That puts us at roughly a 2%, 2.24. That's not that bad, right? So a lot of these are looking like that. I mean, even like, let's just take Chainlink right now. Chainlink is definitely moving right now. We're talking 12, 24, 36, 48 hours. Even in all these little runs over here, we typically, 12, 24, 36, 48 hours, we'll have a little bit of a downturn. So we're trying to catch that downturn for like anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, and then catch the next upturn if we can. So, Moto, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you a ton, man. Can we go look at longs versus short totals on the heat map? Yeah, we could look at that if you wanted to. Let me zoom out on this. I'm talking on the heat map over here. So there's a liquidation heat map. You can see over here, these are Binance. So you can see right now, it's pretty even. Holy crap. This is on Binance right now, but yeah, you got this BTCC. And you can see, 24 at 105,908, that's 24 million sitting right there versus 24 million over here. It's pretty evened out. 56 million on this one at 104 compared to 50 million over here. So yeah, there's markets are pretty split. The heat map is showing that markets are split. Pretty good right there. We can look at another section of the liquidation heat map here. Oops, was that the right one? Yeah, right here. So this is actually Bitcoin looking at right here. That's actually not looking that bad. Let's do it over 48 hours. Yeah, it's pretty flat, dude. But you can see down here the liquidation leveraging down here versus up here. So Huh. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's actually pretty split. Huh. Interesting. Gotta support my guy. You know what I mean. I appreciate you, Moto. XRP is looking like we have a BTC Maxi moron in the chat. It's all good, dude. You get those. You get them sometimes. Are these indicators just for short-term trading? Like, we're talking 12, 24, 36, or 12, 24 to 48 hours. I mean, at the most, right? You can see right now we're about $8 on our short right now for H bar. Let's see where our XRP short is just now. We're down about $5. Right? Like I said, nothing crazy here, but I mean, the market is telling us, these indicators are showing here. Again, when you're up like anywhere from 10 to 20%, you should probably take some profits and reevaluate in these market conditions right now. It's a toss up. Yeah. Yeah, appreciate that. If XRP hits 701, what do you think it pulls back to during the crypto winter? Probably, I think I said 190, right? We lose about 85% of the market value. So you got to consider that when you do it. Is that market value right there? I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. 70%, we use about 70 to 80% of our market. So if we go up 701, I think I have it mapped out here. If we go up to 701, let's see, I think I do have it mapped out. You can see right here, if we go back up to 701, let's go to the day chart. Yeah, we go back down to roughly, I mean, right now we go to the previous bull's high. So we usually fall down to the previous bull's high. That's typically what it is, right? So if that's the case, then we know that the previous bull high was roughly around 197. And so technically, if we were losing about 80%, the peak of XRP could actually go up to 839. I'm calling for I just want us to get over 701 is what I've called from day one. But I mean, technically, if you base it off numbers and math, and we say we lose 76% of our call here, we're roughly sitting around that 196. So we should technically fall back down to the $2 range come up this next bear market, right? We bounce all the way up and then we come back down to that level. So that's kind of, if you do the math and all things are good, then that's kind of where we fall to. So yeah, very, very crazy. Yo, Austin and the A team, hope the kids are good. Yeah. My daughter, she hit her head pretty good. She came across the middle to one of the big girls out there, really good player on the other team, probably one of the better players I've seen in the state. My daughter nutmegged her and then tried to get around her, and then one of the girls got the ball and she chased her down to try to keep a score from happening and just got obliterated across the middle, and she ended up hitting her head. I wouldn't say, it's hard to say whether it was a mild concussion or not. We treated it like a mild concussion. And she was out for yesterday's game. They ended up winning, but they didn't make it to the finals. They went 2-1 in the tournament, and they lost by a point differential. So, it is what it is. They played really good, dude. I got your daughter in my prayers, bro. I appreciate that, Vegas Claw. Yeah, I think I'm going to look into like just a little head cap thing for them. But, dude, they tore it up, man. They tore it up. They did really, really well. So I appreciate that, Vegas Claw. You always need a Jimmy in the crowd. Yeah. You talking about we always need a Dave. It's a Dave, dude. I appreciate you guys for the gifts over here on TikTok. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got a lot of snap. Dude, your daughter, yeah, that's great. Dude, I should show you guys the I know we're not trying to make it, but dude, some of them put some major moves on some of these girls, dude. She made a girl. She finally made a girl fall on one of her cutbacks. It was kind of filthy. It's good to see. It was good to see. So yes, I use BTCC. Yes. That's the exchange I do my margin trading on. Yes. Good to see some green again. Yeah, 100%. Hope she recovers well. What did you try for those blisters? I just bandaged her toe with the blister. They make these blister. You guys have seen them. It's made by Band-Aid. They're like blister pads. They're like almost like a separate piece of skin, and they worked out really well. So I bandaged the hell out of her toe with that. It held up really strong, and then I used a shit ton of the powder This is the other one I got, was like the odor eaters powder, but it's the other one was made by Dr. Scholl's, and it was like for sweat. And I just doused her freaking foot and her cleat with that, and it held up really, really strong. And it actually, her blisters didn't get worse over the course of the weekend. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Think I might have found it, dude. Made enough this morning to buy. That was so funny, dude. Made enough this morning. Good day, Austin. Why the toggle switch on the cold wallet is gone in the pure wallet? They're going to be adding it back, Nathaniel. I cannot move my assets. Please help. What should I do? They're going to be adding that back. You should be able to move your assets. You should be able to grab your assets there. I want a minimum of 5x. Yeah. Well, right now, you can see XRP is coming down. We're up about $7 on that one. We'll see what H bar. We're up about $8 on that little. So we'll have to let this marinate. We'll have to let this marinate over the course of the day and see where it goes. But like I said, indicators are saying otherwise. Indicators are saying that we're a little over purchased in the market right now. We could have a nice little slight fall to, again, you don't want those crazy fallout, but I mean, you do want there to be a little bit of some fall back to certain levels here. And with like H bar, for instance, let's go to the 4-hour chart here. We're trying to look at roughly probably right back down to the top of the 236 on this new fib that I created here. And I did this new fib just to go back, because again, I don't want there to be a major retracement. I just want there to be a slight retracement. So we're looking at roughly top of the 236, which is about a 14,831, which again, from where we're at right now to the 14,381 is about a 2%, right? And a 2% short right now would be a fantastic return. So nice short. Yeah, I think it's going to be good here. When do you think you have enough powder? Add about 30% more. That's true. I powdered the hell out of it, bro. I was dousing the hell out of her foot, both kids' foot. So Ethereum's the next one right now. Ethereum's sitting up here on the 4-hour. Like, things are looking pretty damn good for the Ethereum side of it. One of you guys said, let's go back here. I think it was. Let me go back. Oh, where's it at? Okay. A lot of people in the crypto chat are looking like this is they're looking at the right here. Well, this is another indicator. A lot of people in the moving average, convergence, divergence. So you can see down here. Let me move AirSense comment out of the way here, but you can see right now we're in the green. We're starting to move back up. And when it's bullish, when this thing actually comes back above the zero line right here and gets back into the positive. Right now it's in the negative. Last time we were in the positive, we did something like this. So again, we built out from the bottom of this right here. We had a nice little run like this, and then we built back up like this. So, and then we came down, obviously, and now we're at the bottom here. We're building back up. So again, these shorts should be short term, because things are actually looking positive right here. So if you did enter into a short, realize that it's a short term short. Right? We're talking, like I said, you should be evaluating it every 12 hours to 48 hours. And then we work our way back up. And again, it could just be roughly 12 hours or 4 hours that gets us into this level, and then we have a bounce back. That's kind of what we're seeing here. But we got to make sure that this divergence actually comes back above and continues upward trend. We could be looking at something like this right here, where it's up and down, up and down. So got to really be prepared for that as well if you're using that chart. But right now, Ethereum is looking like, again, something that should technically be shorted. Hasn't quite reached the top yet. I probably would hold off on shorting. I don't feel it's quite reached the top here of its trend here, or gave us a sign that it's going to come back yet. But day chart overall is looking good. You can see right here that the divergence is actually coming down right now. The MACD is coming down right now. So something to watch for. Again, these are all indicators that you could use. So let's get rid of that. Unless news comes out that the ceasefire is not going well, we'll continue up. Yeah, RSI timing. Yeah, you could do that, AirSent. The news, we should have positive. I mean, if the you got to take that into consideration as well, that the ceasefire is a very positive thing too. If we continue to have really, really good news with that, obviously we're going to continue to have really, really positive outcomes on that. But again, if you set that aside and you're trading off indicators, like, again, that's all I'm trying to do right now with indicators is just trade off of those, technically being that the market's a little bit over purchased over the last 2 days already. And if you base it off of last Monday, just go to last Monday when we had a nice little rally last Monday, right? So when was our last Monday right here? It was roughly, let's go to the 4 hour. Sorry. Let's go to 4 hour here. Last time we were at the top right here was last Monday, right? We had Monday right here. Look at this, was last Monday. This is last Monday, Sunday, Monday going into Tuesday. So what did we do? We came up, boom, we had this great thing, and then we settled back down, right? We're doing the same thing here, right? This was Friday. We came back up on Friday here, and then we had this massive sell-off over the weekend. And now we've come up, we've hit this massive run again. We could come back up here and hit this like 2,500 marker. Let's go back to XRP. XRP could come back up. I mean, we're right in this area of like where it's already showing that we have massive support here at this 220 marker, and the next thing is for this to be overpurchased and potentially come back down, settle back down right here. So, but this right here is the peak of Monday, and Sunday and Monday right here. Is this the peak of Sunday and Monday of this week, right? Going into Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll see if it does. Market is going to have a correction soon. Overbought. Yeah, it's definitely overbought, Quentin. Bitcoin doing things. I think I'm going to short Ondo on a low leverage. Yeah, just low. As long as you low leverage it, dude, like you can play it out, right? It's going to have its ups. It could go up to XRP could go to 221. But hey, as long as we didn't over leverage it, as long as we didn't overextend ourselves, as long as we just, we're not trying to get rich overnight type thing. We're just trying to, have a win in our books. That's what you should be doing, right? We shouldn't be trying to, put, $10,000 in on 100x leverage, which a lot of people do, which is crazy. And then they get pissed that they got liquidated. It's like, bro, I wanted Sui Sunday, but didn't have the cash to get it. I get it for a second. Yeah. Sometimes you just miss it, right? Sometimes you just miss it. You were early today. I am early today. I'm probably going to start streaming at 9 o'clock. Now that the kids are out of school, I'm probably going to move my stream time to 9 a.m. just because it gets my stream out of the way for the day. And then, yeah, just makes things easier. Never been liquidated. Yeah, sometimes, as long as you can keep up with your margins, as long as you can not over leverage yourself, you should never get liquidated as long as you don't, overdo it, overextend it. A lot of the reasons why people get liquidated in these markets is because they over leverage themselves. They get greedy, right? They want to turn their $100 into $1,000 over the course of 12 hours. And that just doesn't happen every time. You got to play it out. You got to let these things play out. How's Pepe? Pepe's probably, everything's probably doing good. I haven't looked at Pepe. I don't really trade Pepe all that much, but yeah, Pepe's, it's come back up here, looking like it's definitely overpurchased as well, like a lot of things are. So, probably could have a nice little, retracement until the next leg. And again, it doesn't have to be this major retracement. Like when I say retracement, I'm not talking like another liquidation event. I'm talking just a nice little fall into another level, and we have a nice little bounce back. So my safe leverage spot 3 to 5x. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. Yeah, guy. I agree with you, guy. As long as you stick to it and stay on top of it, you won't get liquidated. The only reason I got liquidated on my previous thing is because I couldn't access BTCC, dude. I couldn't add to my margin. I was pretty disappointed. But I think a lot of things were down. You need to start watching Phoenix. That's my guy. Up 21K at the moment. Hell yeah, bro. That's awesome, dude. That's really, really good, dude. Be up 21K. Same here. I was broke when it was way down. Yeah, I know. That's the tough thing, right? Melanie. Well, it's up in the air because no one knows if it's actually going to be agreed upon or not. That's true. We don't know what the ceasefire is going to entail. That's probably the biggest thing. We have no idea what the ceasefire is, how long it's going to hold out. I mean, look at this. Israel, Iran ceasefire live updates. I mean, I guess what are the live updates right now? Trump said that he's not happy with Israel and Iran after both nations engaged in attacks following the announcement of a truce. The ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this will be very interesting. Dow jumps 500 points as of Tuesday. So, I mean, the Dow's looking pretty damn good right now. The stock market's bounced up. Look at the Dow's up 510 points. S&P's up 66 points. And the Nasdaq's up 295 points. It's looking good. Oh, yeah. Uncertainty is always the killer, dude. Didn't get liquidated, though. This was Sunday. Nice. Last night's dinner got liquidated. Still at a loss. Average of a 2.7. We'll be back to 3 this Q. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, this Q3, Q4 is going to be good. Could be when the 7-year peace treaty comes into the picture. Put food money in the market. Good excuse for fasting. uh, I joined the Discord and can't get in. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. Yeah, all you got to do, bro, Alabama Constitution is all you got to do is just go over here to your settings down here, hit your settings, go over to where it says connections, add your YouTube right here, add your YouTube. So you're just going to add the one that you actually have a membership with, add your YouTube. And then once you add that YouTube, go back to the Discord, and up here it will say start here. All you got to do is click on the rules, click the little checkbox at the bottom right here, and then go over here to where it says choose, and then click on these little emojis right here. And these emojis give you access to the different categories that are in the Discord. And once you do that, you'll have full access to the Discord. It's that simple. I know it sounds crazy, but it really is that simple. Indicators and uncertainty are definitely telling us a short. If the ceasefire falls, then that will be a huge return. Yeah, I mean, and again, you don't account for that. I try not to account for those things, but I mean, technically everything's telling us a short. Time for longs. Evan Rogers says time for longs. Hey, man, yeah, teach your own, right? And again, you could long right now in the next, 12 hours could be great for longs, but I mean, still indicators are still telling us that the markets are over purchased. Oh, you need to be on your desktop and not on the mobile to connect. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Gabe. I appreciate that. Yeah, so maybe sometimes you got to get on the computer to actually do that. See all the people in New York thinking they were being bombed, everyone on edge. Oh, really? Damn, that's crazy. We're tight, your children and our children. We're all family here. Hell yeah, dude. Any VIP updates this week? Yeah, I'm hoping to get it out by the end of this week, dude. That's kind of the goal. I just want to make sure that when I open it up, it's actually, we're ready to rock and roll. My YouTube is connected, so not sure what the issue is. I tried an app and my Mac. Oh wow. Did you click on the rules section? Did you go to the start and click on rules and checkbox, all that stuff? And sometimes when you connect your YouTube, it goes to, if you have like multiple YouTube accounts, it will go to another YouTube account. So you just got to make sure it's the actual YouTube account that you purchased your membership on. We got Min. Thanks so much for the $5 super chat here. Do you think BTC 9K was the final bottom before the next leg up? I'm in 125 at 99.1K. Gosh, damn, bro. Dude, I mean, yeah, 90. I mean, there could be some volatility in there, but if you're watching my live, if you're watching my live on Saturday, we brought up where BTCC could go, and it actually went down to those levels, dude. We talked about this going back down to the 90, to the 98, to the 97 marker, right? Back down to this 382 level, and it almost hit this 382 level again. So we did talk about that live on stream here. You said that you got in at 98K was the final bottom before the next leg up. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty. So you're at a 125X at 99. So you're sitting here. I mean, yeah, you're in a pretty good spot, dude. Even if this thing were to retrace a little bit, because like I said, the 12 hours looking like it's over purchased. This thing stays up here for maybe 12, 24 hours at the most. Day chart's looking good overall and a nice little bounce back here, but the 12 hour is going to probably reset up here. It doesn't stay up here very long. So next 48 hours or next 24 hours, this thing could probably come back down. And we're talking about a retracement from right now back down to like maybe 103, right? You're hoping like 103 comes back down to this 236 level, which again has a lot of support in here. And that's kind of what you're hoping for. So if you're shorting it, you're kind of hoping for a 3% return. So, I mean, you're in a really good spot if you did a 120. So you're up pretty damn good right now. My ADA up 22%. All right, bro. All right, man. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. XRP Pumperino. Yeah, it's coming up right now. Like I said, XRP, it's going to have it's definitely, it could stay up here on the 12 hour. Usually comes up here and stays up here for anywhere from 24 to 48 hours at the top up here. So we've already peaked out. Now we can be up here for, like I said, you got to be able to, if you're going to put the short in, you got to be able to stomach the next, 24 hours. If you do it right, knowing that this could potentially come back up to like a 225. Again, if you set your liquidations and you set your margins, you're probably good. I mean, my margin on this is 229. That had to come all the way back up here, 229. And 228 was the peak of this one that just hit here yesterday. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to sort of see how this plays out. Again, as long as you don't overdo it, you'll be fine. Levi mentioned Judge be deciding this week's settlement on not August. Really? I have no idea if that's the case or not. Do you have the rumor government seizing XRP? I did not hear that rumor. That's crazy. I don't think they're going to be seizing. I think that'd be against everything the Trump administration is trying to do. Austin was a little late to the stream at work. Did you comment on Arthur Brito's? I did not. Yeah, no one knows when Torres will update. It'll be interesting to sort of see when that happens. Yeah. you guys are brutal sometimes. I love you guys though. That's funny. You guys are funny, dude. Oh man. Let's see here. So yeah, like XRP, I back down by $10. Like I said, so I put these live on here. We'll follow them through. We'll see what happens here with our shorts. Austin was a little, yeah. No, I didn't mess with it. Yeah, it's all rumors. It's all rumors for sure. There is some confluence at 221. Yeah. Again, we're rallying right now. Like I said, I'm not telling you when to do the shorts. You can do the shorts whenever you want to do it. Just realize that indicators are telling us that this, we can come back up here and hit this 221, 222, but eventually this is going to be overpurchased. We're going to fall back down to some level, right? So, and again, it's hard to time the top, but not everyone's going to time the top. Now, there's only one person that's going to time the top, just like there's only one person that's going to time the bottom. So, but yeah, even Solana right now, that's looking 147 is kind of like this trigger point up here for a level of support, or that's really a nice little level of resistance right there. Actually, a pretty good level of resistance on Solana right there. It's BS put out by BTC maxis. Oh, you're talking about the whole, yeah, very well could be, right? 250 incoming. That'd be crazy. 250 incoming just like spikes to 250. If a rate cut hit, yeah, I think that would probably happen. That's pretty crazy. You have a lot of people here who are super bullish. A lot of people here are bearish. It's okay. Yeah, again, indicators have been mixed over the weekend, dude. We had a pretty big event. I timed the top every single time and buy. All right. Yeah, you use futures contracts, but it's complicated as fuck. So we leverage trade on. Yeah, dude. Leverage trade, dude. The Coinbase futures contracts are hard to trade. You could trade them, but they're difficult. You could trade them on BTCC, but yeah, we just do perpetuals. Perpetual margin trading on BTCC is where it's at. So, if the banks adopt cryptocurrencies, they're gonna fly up soon, right? They should. Yeah, you should. Like, when does that happen? I don't know. Hey, Austin, are you on Telegram? Someone with your profile has been soliciting me. I am on Telegram. It's just awesome. AuzSOME is my Telegram name. And I would never reach out to anyone. Just to let you guys know, I would never reach out to any of you guys personally. So if you have an awesome Austin reaching out to you or trying to sell you something or solicit, like, that is not, like, I would never reach out to you guys. I would never DM you, text you, reach out to you, try to get something from you. Like, dude, that's a waste of time. Like, I would never do that. It's too time consuming. Austin, you're killing me. Sure, if the banks adopt cryptos, yeah, I could. Perhaps Michael, dude, what's crazy is Michael Saylor. I think Michael Saylor bought some more today. So, yeah, thank you. No problem, Mar. I'm Mar. Great day, everybody. Yeah, it's a great day, dude. Long-term bags are looking really, really nice right now. Now we're just playing some small, shorts up in here, but long-term bags are looking really, really nice right now. Everyone should be happy with their bags coming back. I'm pretty sure they looked at their long-term bags going, oof, man, this sucks. But yeah, I think I covered everything for the most part. So any of those socials, if you didn't start 99.9, sure, they're okay. On any of those socials, if you didn't start it, 99.9% sure they're not who they say they are. Yeah, that's 100% true. Thanks for doing the stream. Time for coffee. Hell yeah, Andrew. I'm gonna go. I'm about to jump off here. I've been on here for about an hour. Like I said, my streams are gonna probably starting at 9 o'clock to get it out of the way for the day. Now that I'm in summer session. But yes, VIP is coming up here this week. I'm hoping to get it out here sometime later this week for everyone. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And also, I'm really hoping that I have a price breakdown for you guys. I know that's probably been one of the biggest questions out there is what the pricing is going to be for it. So yeah, XRP sitting at this 221 right now. So it's coming up. It's starting to heat up here as to when this is going to peak. So you know, again, we could be sitting at something like this. This was roughly around almost 100%. We've been at this 100%, so it should be almost at the peak. But we'll see. We'll see if it keeps rallying or not on these things. So before I knew you didn't reach out to people, I was talking to this individual and know to myself, Austin doesn't talk like this. And then I reported them. That's so funny, dude. I'm so sorry. That sucks, dude. BTC breaks 106. Yeah, it's starting to break 106 right now. It's peaking though. It's peaking. You can see you can see we're roughly about 2% away from this peaking. So again, we could probably come up and hit somewhere in this 106, 106.5 level before we hit the peak of the 12-hour here. So again, playing the 12-hour, we'll see what happens. So it's all about trying to time the market as best you can. But if you can't time the market, at least try to find a place to enter. So with all that, I'm going to actually hop off here. I appreciate you guys. You panic sold? No, we didn't find a panic sell. Oh, Kings did. Oh, yeah. But yeah, with all that, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being on here today. I did start the stream early. I'll probably be on here, like I said, at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, at least through the summertime. And yeah, with all that, love you guys a ton, and we're out. Peace out, everyone.